Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradham Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tatva Bodham Vidhiyate.
So his works could be categorized into three major categories: the Bhashya Granthas, which includes the commentaries on what we call the Prasthanatrayi, which are the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. It means the three primary scriptures. And then in addition, he also did what we call the Prakarana Granthas, any work that aids in the study of a major subject and helps in understanding it better. So Prakarana Granthas. So those were the Tatva Bodham, Atma Bodh, Viveka Chudamani, main. What they do is they bring about the fundamental concepts of Vedanta and the Vedantic terminology and what we call the technical terms. So what we are about to take up is primarily a study in the fundamental concepts of not only Advaita Vedanta, but also pretty much all the concepts in Hinduism, like reincarnation, karma, what are the Sukshma Sariras, the subtle bodies, the 24 Tattvas. So all this also dealt with here in Tatva Bodham, which is again one of the Prakarana Granthas. In addition to these major areas, he also did, out of compassion and for everyone, that it's not in the capacity, it's not within the grasp of everybody to understand some of these Advaitic concepts, the higher philosophies. So the marga for them was Bhakti Marga, through which we can attain the same goal eventually. Like we all know, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did, Meera did, Andal did through Bhakti Marga. So for that he also did Stotra Granthas. Annapurna Ashtakam Mahishasura Madhini Saundarya Lahari Kanakadhara Stotram Subramanya Bhujangam, you name it, innumerable Panchakams and Stotrams and Ashtakams, all those. He did that. So both falls under the Prakarana Granthas. So this is the Prakarana Grantha for Vedanta. So what is Vedanta? Vedasya Antaha Vedantaha. So it's the essence of Vedas. So therefore, it's Vedanta. It also given literally at the end of the Vedas in the form of Upanishads, which are at the end of the Vedas. Each Vedas has its own Upanishads. So in that sense also it's Vedanta. And this is a body of knowledge. Vedanta is a body of knowledge that contains ultimate teaching of Hinduism. Hinduism teaches many things, but the ultimate, most supreme teaching of Hinduism is contained in the Vedantas and brought out in summary form in those four Mahavakyas. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. So Tatva Bodham is a Vedantic primer. Primer in the sense Swami Vijayananda calls it LKG. So a student who wants to go to the College of Vedanta, this is where he has to start, LKG. So Tatva Bodham is a Vedantic primer. And he did this in a beautiful prose form in the form of question and answers. So, and Swami Vijayananda calls it an approachable treatise. Approachable treatise means that it's easily understandable, and anyone with an interest in the study of Vedanta can approach it with ease. So that is why most of the Vedantic courses will start with this before going upon even to the Upanishads. Now the question arises, why study Vedanta at all? So because we need to study Vedanta, we have to study the primer. So, but then why study Vedanta? Well, that's the question of everyone's life. Why study Vedanta? What does Vedanta teach? Vedanta teaches that whatever you are seeking, you are already that. You're flying around, running around everywhere to looking for something. That something is you. So what is that we are all seeking? You have heard it in so many different forms, in so many different languages, so many different terminologies. All the Swamis talk about this, all these new age meditation guys talk about it. This is one of their sales pitch. Oh, unlimited happiness, this and that. Anyway. So you have heard this so many times, but that's what it is. So what we are seeking is unlimited everything. We want everything not in a limited form, we want everything in an unlimited form. What is that unlimited form? Money unlimited, comfort unlimited, fame unlimited, right? Health unlimited. So, is it really possible? What we are trying to do in the process of seeking the unlimited, we are trying to remove an innate but unnatural sense of limitation. So the sense of limitation we have, and that's why we are seeking unlimited. Now that sense of limitation is unnatural and also innate. So why it's unnatural we'll see in a couple of minutes, and why it is innate, because we all have experienced this. We see it all around you, because everybody feels limited by a lack of power. If you work in a company, there is always somebody superior to you. And even if you are the superior most person, like Bill Gates in a company, still there is the board, the government. So in terms of power, no one can say that he has absolute power. Even the President of America or Prime Minister of any country, you cannot imagine the problems they have, and they feel limited by the power of the Congress, by the members, because President Trump wants to do something, the Congress defeats it. So even he, limited by the lack of power. And even the most billionaires want keep striving for more money, playing the stock market. Still nobody ever says, okay, I have enough billions, let's stop here now. Same way. And the time, nobody has enough time. Right? Other than the person who has, okay, I had everything, the contented person, other than the contented person, which is very rare to find. We all feel the crunch of time. We all do. And then love, we can never have enough of it. So we feel limited in terms of being loved, and we want to be loved and loved by the children, by the spouses, by the parents, so on and so forth. And as you grow older, the children don't like me anymore. Things like that. And when we were children, Even then, this sibling rivalries. Oh, you love my brother more than you love me, or you love my sister more than you love me. So all this is like a constant struggle. So that feeling of limitedness automatically brings in the strife and an effort to be free and feel unlimited. And why we want to feel unlimited? Because you want that joy, that unlimited joy that is described in Taittiriya Upanishad in Anandavalli in terms of numbers. So that kind of infinite joy. So that is what we are seeking. Nitya Sukham. Not only a joy that I go eat an ice cream in an ice cream parlor, the joy is gone in a couple of minutes. That's not Nitya Sukham. So that Nitya Sukham is what we are seeking. And how do we get Sukham? We think we get Sukham by getting what we want and not getting what we do not want. So we seek permanent happiness by trying to get what we want and trying not to get what we do not want. In other words, Sukha Prapti Dukkha Nivritti, or Dukkha Free Sukham. That's what everybody wants. Nobody wants Dukkha. But unfortunately the problem is, we all know, we all have experienced that we don't always get what we want, and a few times we also get what we do not want. So that's a paradox. So this being the case, what is the solution? So that's where we turn to Vedanta. Vedanta teaches, as we said, that we are already that which we are seeking. So what is that we are already that? What is the Swarupa Lakshana? Which means the innate nature. Innate nature of our being is fullness, completeness, and blessedness and bliss. So that's the innate nature. Swarupa Lakshana. How did we lose that innate nature? Very simple analogy. I just came up with this beautiful simple analogy. The innate nature of water is if it cool. Water is cool, or room temperature. Innate nature. If you put it on a stove, with a little vessel, and turn the stove on, the vessel passes the heat to the water, and the water gets heated up, evaporates, or steams out. But the moment you turn the heat off, what does the water do? It cools down. It comes back to its own nature, innate nature. Okay? So, in order to achieve the innate nature of water, the external conditions and conditioning have to be removed. So the water has to be removed off the stove. That is an external condition, external conditioning. And this is pretty much what's happening in our cases. So just as in the water, the heating has to stop to cool, because heating will not make it cool. Heating will not make it cool. In order to get back its innate nature, the heating has to be stopped. So what is happening in our case is what we call this heating, with all these external things, that I am this, this is where my happiness is, this is what I need to seek. So all this conditioning of our mind, conditioning of our judgments, conditioning of our values, right from day one when you are born. This is what you need to do. You need to strive hard. You need to, right from day one in school, You have to compete, you got to get ranks, pressure from home, pressure everywhere is conditioning. So the heat is turned on right from day one. In other words, all these wrong concepts are imposed upon us, so we forgot completely the innate nature. And while the heat is being on, we are all trying to try to be cool. How can the water be cool while the heat is on? It is on from the day you are born till you are dead. And you're trying to get your innate nature. Absolutely impossible. Doesn't work. Does not work. So all that Advaita Vedanta is trying to tell us is turn the heat off, rip off all the conditioning, and then you will get your innate nature. You are already that. You brought the heat on yourself. Marattai maraitadu mamadayane, marattul maraindadu mamadayane, parattai maraitadu parvanjabhudam, parattul maraindadu parvanjabhudam. You brought out the illusion yourself. That is just a wooden elephant. Your mind said that it is a real elephant and you are sweating bullets. So who brought the conditioning? Did the wooden elephant bring it? No, you brought it on. Same way, the whole world is like that elephant. We are running and running and running. So, none of these, all this is all different stoves that heat the water. What are the stoves? Relationships, where we think that's going to give us joy. All these activities, right from getting up in the morning, running around, till the time you go to bed, another stove is turned on. We're thinking that that's going to bring us joy. And our own concept of ourselves, that this is me, 5'10", this is how I look, gray, black, white, and this is me, and that me has been changing all the time. Right from 2-year-old, you thought that was you. 10-year-old, you thought that was you. And 16-year-old, you thought it was you. Whatever happened to all those previous conditions? Something that is non-changing, but we had been identifying ourselves with that eternally changing, that was always in a constant state of flux as something that we are real. Identifying with something that was eternally changing in a constant state of flux. Okay? So that the image of ourselves. And then we also, in addition to an image, conditioning of what we really are, what we think we are, that this is me and this is mine. At one point of time you identified with toys, and then when you went to school you identified with friends, little friends. Then when you grow up you identify with your achievements, identify with your degrees. Then you identify with your relationship. This is my spouse, this is my husband, this is my wife. Then after a while you identify with your children. Then you identify with your, this is my house, little house, now bigger house, now this is my vehicle. Start with an ambassador, now this is my Mercedes. So all this is not only you in terms of your physical body, which is constantly changing, but the things that you're associating yourself with is also constantly changing. So this is what is this conditioning, thinking that all this is going to bring in this joy. All the time while turning the heat on, we were trying to become cool, and that never happened. Good. Now, a different way to look at this. Even those trying to seek nirvana are trying to achieve moksha, or enlightenment. What do? We do japa, go pray, run to temple, do here, nothing wrong. These are all the steps. But this is Vedanta. Keep in mind, what you're talking is Vedanta. So don't come around and say, Vijayji, should we stop going to temple? No. So that this is ultimate knowledge. Unless you understand this, that there is no purpose in going to temple or doing anything else that you do to seek that final goal of moksha. So, even this nirvana we seek, it cannot be sought with the 5 senses. Even though these are the steps, but the 5 senses will never lead you to that, because they're always directed outward. So what I am trying to do is trying to find my intrinsic nature, joy, bliss, outside of me, looking for it in objects. In objects starting from ice cream to a movie. So that joy I'm trying to find in so many different things outside of me, in love, in relationship, in fame, in wealth, in money. So my intrinsic nature is not out there, but it's in here with me. So in other words, I'm trying to find something that is inside of me and I'm looking for it outside. So the moment I look for it outside, there are two things, the seen and the seer. So how can I, the seer, look for another seer in a scene? So if I am the seer and I'm looking for a seer outside of me, so the subject is looking for a subject in an object. Not going to happen. Because there's only one subject. Why the subject is looking for a subject in an object? Because the subject thinks that the object has all the joy in it. Whereas the joy is in the subject itself. Look like these parrots, they look in two different directions. You need to turn around like the birds below and say, you and me, what you're looking for is me. So the object you're looking for is in you. So the whole thing is, who is this I? And that's a subject that Vedanta deals with, and that you cannot find it outside. So it is you, you're already that. You are that you're seeking. That's what the teaching of Vedanta is. And then this Tatva Bodham gives us beautiful steps in understanding that concept, so which we would see further. With that we will conclude, unless you have any questions.